right.
Okay, then I would say let's jump right in. So we decided to talk about branding today and maybe go through a few of the key points, especially when it comes to personal branding. Yeah,
Yeah, sounds very good.
gonna,
And
it's gonna start there.
yeah, and we also got a couple of questions that you might have seen in school. Some of them were about financial planning in business and financial planning in personal life and stuff like that. But we decided we will probably record some larger and more in-depth modules about those parts, first of all. So in this one, we will talk about ways of branding yourself, because that we can talk about for 10 hours, probably. So we decided to do this for 1 hour. So I mean, whoever starts to take the tone, maybe Florian, you can start a little bit. Like, how do you see branding for other tattoo artists and studios, and what have you seen works in that sense?
Mhm. I think when it comes to branding, there are two things that are very important to know or to understand in our niche is first of all, you're building a personal brand, not a corporate brand as an artist. So it's more about the vibe that you deliver and less about the images and less about the, let's say, the corporate identity, like logo, fonts, and all that stuff. That is more like on the lower important side for an artist. For an artist, it's more important the work that he produces and the vibe that he creates for his artists. Yeah, and the second thing that I think is really important is to be able to find your niche. So to really know what you're specialized in, and the better your niche is, the more easy it is to find your clients as well, or find the right clients as well.
Yeah, yeah, that is something that we speak a lot about here, and you have the module inside of school here as well. Um, because finding your niche is like whatever business that you're in. Is that the same that we could do this entire thing that we're doing with Tattoo Growth, that we could do it for every single business? It would not be the same power, right? You
Mhm.
have a specified niche in whatever business that you're in. Um, and you also have a fun story about um, it's one of the artists that you have that are doing like floral tattoos, right? And she's only specified in that, which is also like super powerful.
Yes, well, this is with most artists I'm working together. We're always try to niche down, not just in a style, but also in a range of motives. That doesn't mean that you don't do everything else if you like to do other things as well, but it means you're focused on one thing, and this, whatever you create when it comes to content, or at least 80% of the content and of the things that you show have to be related to that one topic. So it's more easy to understand for people what you are doing.
Yeah, sure.
And in today's time, people go, let's say 10 years ago, when you did your branding as an artist, when you said things like, hey, I work in a very high quality, we work very hygienic, we have a luxury ambiente in our studio, these were like unique selling points that you could use as an artist. In today's time, like high quality in the work and in the hygiene and everything else around in the studio is expected. So it's not anymore something that you can use to brand yourself. So you need to go for other things. And Gen Z and in general younger people, they go more for values. So if you can build a brand around the values that you have, it's easier to attract the people that share the same values with you.
Yeah.
The when it comes to like an Instagram of a studio or a single artist, how do you think that you should like brand yourself? Should you brand yourself in different ways if you are like a big studio or a single artist, or should like a big studio also brand themselves in like one single niche, or how should you think there?
No, I think the experience that I have is, as a studio, you don't need to niche down too much. You can, but you don't have to. It's more about the artist. If you like to build the studio brand exists around the service that he provides for the client, right? And for a client, if you have two kind of studios, so you either have the studios to focus on one style only. Let's say a studio with 5 traditional artists, it's like a typical traditional tattoo studio, and you know when you get there, you only get this style or mostly just this kind of tattoos. But if you're a studio that goes for various styles, you can niche down with your service, but not with the tattoo styles that you offer. I think niching down is more important for the artist itself than for the studio.
Yeah, I think also that something that we have seen with those that we have worked with and also other people is that, like, you can be, like you're saying, people are expecting high quality tattoos now. Like, there are so many good artists, there are so many good studios, so people expect that, like, that's the least requirement if you are going to grow. But in order to grow even further and to actually stand out from the competition, to not maybe only post on your tattoos, but also to share your personal life, share your values, because then you will get people that are more aligned with who you are, and you will get more serious clients, and it will also build a lot of trust. Which means that if they come into your profile and they only see tattoos, for example, but they don't see your face, they don't know how you talk, they don't know how you move, they don't know what you think, they don't know where you go, they don't know what you like there is nothing personal whatsoever. And if you don't have that, it's like, of course it works, right? Of course it works, but it's will make you stand out from the rest if you could be more personal and actually not be like a corporate brand, like you say, but be more a personal identity and actually stand out with who you are, because that is what will attract people with similar values, similar lifestyle, similar things that they like. Um, and in that sense, you also got to be very careful to maybe not post everything that you're like you have in your life, because that can also scare away a lot of people. So you got to be careful on that sense too, and maybe really make like calculated decisions on what type of things you post, because that is also what your clients will see and also what they will um, relate you with. So whatever associations that you make, that the clients make with you or your brand, is also super important.
And I think it's very important to talk like how you should do these things and share like who you are, share your values, and not like, because it's very often to talk like generally about it, but it's more like, okay, how should I share what my values are? How should I share how I give the studio experience to the customers? How should I make them do this different type of things? And I would say like, if you want to be more personal and share your values and all these stuffs on your social media, I think it's very important to like, maybe you could do like client interviews with the customers, like how was your tattoo experience? How did you feel when you came here? How did you feel about the tattoo experience? And also share the results of your clients and like do these type of things as well, because then people can watch your Instagram like a portfolio, like how your tattoos looks, how you talk with the customer, and what they feel about the experience and all this stuff as well.
I think yes, agree with both of you what you said. I think when it comes to the kind of content you do or the different formats of content you do, we already switch into the marketing part and not anymore just the branding part. What Noah said before is very, very true. And if you break it down to a very simple saying, it's people buy from people, or people want to see people, right? So if we are on social media, it is made for people to connect. It's not like an online store where you go and browse for products or for services. It's a social network where people want to connect with other people or like-minded people. And if they see something that they like, is it a product or is it a service, they might buy it. And social media became more and more an online marketplace as well. And here's the like this gap that you have to be able to overcome. So if you're only showing products, and doesn't matter what kind of products this is it a digital product or physical product, is it a service? If you only show what you're selling, it feels very salesy. And people go on the page and they're going to be like, and they see something, they're going to be like, probably want to sell me something. Or there is nothing that entertains me. There are just things to see that look nice and beautiful, but it doesn't entertain me, right? And if I am not in the mood right now to buy something, if I'm not actively looking for what you have to sell, and in this case it's tattoos, I will not follow and I will not buy. But if I see content that entertains me and wakes the desire for your service or for the product, because I see how people feel with it, I see, and I want the feeling as well, then the chance is higher that I can convert a new follower or a new visitor into a follower and then in a client as well.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people are struggling as well, because they say like, oh, I post a lot of high quality tattoos, I post a lot of high quality stuff, but I am not growing. Well, before that, it worked before, because then there was not so many artists, not so many studios, and not that many good people around the world. But now, like, people are out scrolling and they see tattoos everywhere, and it doesn't stop their scrolling at all. But if you make something that actually entertains them or educate them in some way, that is what will bring visitors. And if you have a good profile with high quality stuff and that actually entertains people, that is when you will not only gain new followers but also retain those followers. But that once again goes a little bit more into social media and engagement and away from the branding stuff. But it's good to put out there. So yeah, I think it's very important.
Whatever you start branding, or you're branding anyway, with whatever you do, you're creating your own brand. The question is if you do it consciously or unconsciously. But as soon as you start to do it consciously, you need to understand that this takes time. So this is not something that you can like write down an idea in one evening and then execute it the next day, and then a week later you will have amazing results. It can happen, but most of the time it takes a little bit more time to create the brand around yourself.
Yeah.
And I think consistency is a very another important aspect in this, that you show up not every day, but like a few times a week. Be consistent in the quality, that you stay consistent in the formats that you choose, that you stay consistent in the message that you try to deliver, because it takes time for, first of all, the algorithm, and second of all, the people to understand what you're communicating now and what you're doing now.
Yes, I think it's important to not only that people get sold on your tattoos, but also get sold on you as a person.
Yes.
And I think that goes with a lot of brands in whatever business that you're in. Like, people want to buy from people they like you said. And the thing is, like, branding is, just like you said right now before, like, branding is something that takes a lot of time, and it needs to be consistent, and it's something that will require your effort, but it is also something that will make everything so much easier once you have got the ball rolling. Because if you have good branding, your ads will perform better, your clients will recommend you better. Like, people that are actually looking for that type of values or that type of style will find you. Like, it takes some time to build up, but once you have it, it's like a snowball effect, and you gotta keep doing that and find what works, basically.
And you, Florian, you talked about like being consistent and with the posting and people recognizing you and like always post every single week. How important should you say that it, because we talked with Vitor about this, and like always have a clean background, having the same background, like how important should you say that it's that you always have the same filters, like the picture type, like a close up of the tattoo or far away with the same background, and like the layout, and that having your artist name the same everywhere, and these type of stuff, like that type of branding, like always being consistent with having the same style everywhere, not just like the same tattoo niche and customer niche, but these type of stuff as well when you look into the Instagram.
May I ask you one question before? When you go on Instagram, what do you look at? Do you go through the feed? Do you go on the reels directly? Do you scroll through stories? What is the most accurate one for you?
The regular pictures and the stories.
Okay. For you, Noah?
I'd say the same.
Okay. So yes, a lot of people also jump directly in the reels or just in the stories, right? So the chance that somebody sees the picture that you actually post, or that all your followers sees the picture that you post, is very, very small. I always recommend to keep the feed more like a portfolio. So when people come to your profile, they see, okay, there everything looks clean, it looks organized, everything is with the same, as you said, same background. It's like built in the same way. It has like a certain aesthetics. When I go on the feed and check what this artist is doing. When it comes to stories or also reels that you don't have in your main feed, that you just have in the reels feed, you can be a little bit more creative and a little bit more personal. So I always recommend to keep the portfolio as the feed as portfolio, and the stories and reels as like daily insights. So you can just show what you're doing. You can just show what you're doing. And people need to connect to people. The reason why consistency is important is that people see you every day. It's like when you watch a reality TV show. If you watch a reality TV show and you see these human beings every day or at least once a week, and you experience something with them, you start to build a relationship with them unconsciously. And this is what we want our visitors on social media to do with us as well. We want to be a fixed part of their daily routine. So when they open their social media app, it should be, okay, cool, there is the story of Noah again. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to see what's going on with his life at the moment. And the same is also for in branding for the tattoo artists. So people want to connect with them. They want to understand how their life is going. They want to see what art are they creating. They want to see who they are working with. And here I have to be very careful that we don't switch to marketing again and stay in branding, but tell your story, but also tell the story of the people who are in contact with you. So not only tell your own story, also tell the story of the clients. This is also something that I found out helps a lot.
If for people that doesn't understand exactly what that means, how do you mean with telling the client stories?
Okay, we maybe have to touch one foot into the marketing part. So there is one, there in marketing there is one. It's the hero's story. Right? And this is like a basic of storytelling. So it's like a hero's journey, sorry. So it's a journey where a hero of the hero of the story has to do the same steps in a circle over and over again, right? So it's like it's a 13, 12 or 13 steps that he has to do. And when you tell or when you try to talk to a client in a sense of not just getting their attention, but also try to build a relationship with them and sell them something, you have to tell their story and not your story. So when you make content piece, make them the hero of the story and not you. It's more important for them to see how they self or somebody with the same at the same place as they are, what they experience in this story, right? And how they involve in that story rather than the artist. Yeah, but I think this is a topic for a completely different call. So branding and marketing is very close together, but it's still two different things, right?
Yeah, one of them makes the other one easier and the other way around.
Exactly.
So it's sorry.
I'm very curious because I know both of you are actively building an personal brand as well, not in the tattoo niche, but in your niche. So maybe Elias, you've been very active on social media and not just on Instagram, on different platforms. Like, what is the most valuable that you've learned during your journey in self-branding?
Like for the first post every single day, like being consistent in posting, like showing who you are, what you like to do, being personal, but also show the serious side that you can do both, because we are all human. We all are humans. We have emotions. We feel motivated. We feel very down some days, and you have like emotions. So I think many people are afraid to show that you can like have really fun, but also be sad and having boring, but also be like successful and doing many of these stuffs, but also have bad days and all that stuff. So I think it's very important to show all the different sides. You don't have to be very, very personal and show everyone what's happening in your private life, but like show generally what's happening and post every single day and talk in your content so people can like hear your tonality, like your energy, and show who you are, and like you have to dare to express yourself.
Yeah. I think it's good that you say. I think it all comes down that people want to have something to relate to. I think you.
Oh, one thing, should I invite Ted to this? Because I saw that he joined the Zoom meeting now.
Yeah, why not? Let him in.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah,
for
I
it. You
can.
can tell him to come into Google Meet.
I can send him.
Yeah, but I think that when you're doing like the personal content and stuff like that, that you want to be relatable, and you also want to. I at least know for myself, I'm not that much into personal branding as Elias is, because he's posting every single day, and there I am slacking. But like, I think the core value that Elias and I always have done when it comes to personal branding is to give as much value as humanly possible out there, and to help. Uh, like, don't expect anything in return, but just help and give value, basically. Um, Now Ted can join the
Yeah, I
game.
saw that. Hello, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Ted. You jump in the middle of the the call. We are recording about branding today.
Okay, interesting.
Good stuff.
Well, let's see.
It's a good topic to talk with you about as well, because you're in the middle of your branding journey right now.
Yeah, true. Let's see if I can get my earphones to work.
And I just want to continue on the thing you said, Noah.
Mhm.
Like on your social media to share as much value as possible. Because me and Noah, we always say payment is due when service is rendered. And like you just want to give your clients or your followers as much value as possible, if it is like value in knowledge or enjoyment or whatever it could be. People want to feel like they get something out from you when they are following you. Just as you said, Florian, with you want to make the client feel like they're the hero of the story, and about the content piece, like they are in the center. Like the focus should always be on the follower and on the client, so they feel like they're always involved in your content on the same time that they're involved in your life. So they like almost feel like they know you, even though you have never met. So that's like a little tricky thing to find, but one like easy way to come there is to be very personal and show your values so people can relate to you. But I think Theodore could share some of your experience and your knowledge about like how you see or weigh the branding, how you brand yourself, and what type of experience you have there. What should you say is the most important to do when you're branding yourself?
I would say it's important to be personal, like you said. It's not only going to show who you are, but the values you bring and what person you are, essentially. And that makes it easier for a client to potentially book with you, or just follow along the journey. So I would say don't be afraid to be personal. Don't be afraid to show yourself in front of the camera, talking, bringing in the clients, testimonials, and that kind of stuff is a huge way to build trust. That's what I've seen so far with my branding and my posting on social medias, that the more personal you get, the better it goes, and the better it resonates with your followers, and the better they can connect with you as well.
Yeah, I think at least that's what you win a lot on, because that is also why I booked in a sleep with you because I like your values and how you are as a person. Like it's not only like you see good tattoos, but you also like now we've met in real life, we've been speaking a lot of Google Meet. Like I
Mm.
see how you are as a person, and that is what matters more to me than rather than just like of course getting a high quality tattoo, of course, but also
Yeah,
with I want to have a good experience if I'm going to spend a shit ton of hours with someone. I also want to like that person, right?
yeah, yeah. Because at the end of the day, like the client, they will remember the experience more than the tattoo. Because I've had clients, they have multiple tattoos from different artists, and I ask them like, "Oh, hey, where did you get this tattoo?" And they can't even remember where they got it, or even the location or anything. So that is probably a kind of bad experience that you can't even remember the tattoo you got or the artist or anything like that. But then the tattoo can be good as well. But I think the experience overpowers the quality of the work, and that's also going to make the clients come back for more tattoos.
Yeah. I
So
mean, yeah, that's very nice. I mean, you, Florian, when you ran your studios, you like focused a lot on the studio vibe and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Like, how are your thoughts around that in creating that type of experience and branding from the outside and from the inside whenever the client is inside?
Um, Tattoos are emotional sales. We're just selling on emotion, never on anything else, right? So the value behind the tattoo is the experience you make with the whole thing. This is what you remember. This is what stays with you for the rest of your life. The picture on your skin as well, but also the memory that is incorporated in the design and the memory of how the whole thing happened. And when it comes to branding for studios, for me, it was always the most important to show that we are kind of a stage, and we try, as a studio, we try to provide the best possible stage for artists and their clients, so that this connection between the two of them and this session between the two of them can happen in the best way possible. That everybody has everything that they need to perform at the best level, and that the customer has everything he needs to feel the most comfortable. And since there are a lot of different emotions involved in getting tattoos, this has to be a little bit different approach, or let's say more neutral approach to everybody. And then as soon as you understand what emotion you're dealing with, you can go more in depth on that. But I think for studio branding, it's the experience that the people have with you in the studio. Is it an artist or is it a customer? Is the most important thing that you can show. Because no matter how nice the tattoo studio looks, no matter how nice the furniture is, no matter how clean it is, no matter how good, when you step foot inside and you feel like there is a bad vibe, probably will not come back again. This is not the
yeah,
place where you want to have like this kind of emotional service done on you. And if you do so, you want to be in a field where this is valued as well, and where they keep the vibe high.
I think this shows as well like how much branding, marketing, sales, and studio experience go like hand in hand. Because when we talk about this, we come into all these four topics because it's a little bit hard to just stick to one topic. But when we talk about branding, it's so easy to come into the marketing and how you brand yourself and show the studio experience and like how you sell the tattoo and all these stuff. So this just shows how important it is to have all these different things in place to have a good customer experience, to get your brand out there, to show your values. And when you get the customer in, you need to be good at selling the tattoos as well. So it just shows how important it is to have all these different things in place.
Maybe here a quick for people watching this who don't yet understand the difference between branding and marketing completely. Like branding is how people see you. So in a sense of this is how people talk about you when they talk to other people about you. And marketing is how you sell your services. Right?
Yeah.
This Marketing is what they tell their friends what you're doing, and branding is how they tell it or how they talk about it.
Yeah, that's very good to add in as well, because it's not always clear on the
No,
different.
it wasn't for me as well in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think to finish what you asked before, Elias, when it comes to branding for a studio, it's all about what you can provide to
Yeah.
the people either working with you or come and visit you as clients.
Yeah, because I feel like on a studio Instagram, you could of course be very niche down to one like style, but as a studio, I think it's very much more important to show how the feeling and the vibes are when you walk into the studio, what type of snacks or drinks you're getting, what type of music you have, what type of different tattoos the studio offer, and these type of stuff. So on a studio Instagram, I think it's much more important to focus on like the studio experience and the vibes inside the studio.
Exactly. So it's what you, one thing that you can show is what you offer, but then again, the hero of the story should be the client. So how they feel, how the clients feel, how the client artists feel, how the vibe is in the studio. Because maybe the difference to a rational sale is when you buy a product that you replace, right? So a rational sale, there are some emotions involved as well, but it's a product, you know exactly what to expect, and you buy it. It doesn't really matter how buying it feels. Yes, if you go and buy a car for like $500,000, then you want the crazy experience around it as well. But if you buy a normal product for a few dollars, the experience around it is not the most important, right? Just about the quality of the product. But when it comes to the emotional part, the experience around it is way more important than the result. The result is important as well. But I guess everybody who works in our industry, they know a situation where somebody was like, yeah, the tattoo isn't, it could have been done better, but I still went back to this guy or to this girl because the experience was amazing. I was there and I felt like I never felt as good as at that day, right? And you have this high for a few days, and it's just something that really fuels you up with energy and with good vibes. And then you go back to this person or to this artist, even you know there will be maybe somebody else who do it in a better way, but you know the experience there is not as nice as the experience with your artist.
Exactly. And I think also people are, or clients are so loyal. Like I've had so many clients coming back now, and they have been with me since the beginning, you know, since I started tattooing 4 years ago, when I started in the studio. So people are very, very loyal once you really connect with them. So they can be a lifetime client. So
Yeah. Do you guys want to add another thing into that? Otherwise, I have another thing that I want to add regards to the branding, which I also think is very important.
I think one thing that
yeah.
when Ted said that, that clients are super loyal and always staying with the same artist, I think it is really important to give the client the best possible experience all the time.
Yeah.
Because you can have clients flying in from different countries or taking a whole weekend off or taking free time from work, and then it's like one of the biggest days of the year to go to get their dream tattoo. Like maybe they going to get a whole back piece, taking like free time from work and all this stuff. So when they have like fly to a country, coming to your studio, and they're like so excited, it's super important that they get in like handled very well and getting this good studio experience, because you can't like handle one customer differently than the others. And yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
This is a very important thing that you said now, Elias. It's like for the client, it's like an event of the year.
Yeah.
And for the artist, it's another day at work. And to match the energy there is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have wanted to add a thing regards to the branding, like from the outside, on what I believe is a very good thing to do, but also a very dangerous thing if it's done in the wrong way, and that is to use influencer marketing. And I know a lot of people are are doing, which is a very good way. And I also have a very fun story about a tattoo artist that I took a coffee with like 2 weeks ago, and he was completely new to a small city where I am from, and he had just started tattooing, like it was maybe 3.5 years ago, and now he's at 28K followers, and he's good at making tattoos, but he's also an amazing person, but also amazing when it comes to social media, and he understands the business aspects of it. So when he started up and when he had his opening of his studio, he gathered all the club owners in the city, and he told everyone that they could come in. Everyone gets free tattoos for 24 hours, and they just had like a party inside of the studio, and they were doing all of these things. And these club owners, they know the entire fucking city, right? So they posted everywhere that they were there on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, everything. And he's been fully booked like almost every single week since then, because of the brand that he built there, and also how he has retained his clients and also continue building on those things. So I know, for example, like a lot of people are using, you did that as well, Ted, with bringing like other influencers, and Florian, you have done it also with your artists and your students, stuff like that. And that is such a powerful way to get more eyes on you, but it's also very dangerous if you decide to associate with the wrong type of people that is not aligned with your brand, because if they were supposed to do something, or they would do something that is not aligned with your values, that can fuck up a lot. But it's also something that can bring a lot, and that goes the same in life. There's always positives and negatives, right? But if you can do some type of influencer marketing, get them in, offer them a free tattoo in exchange for you posting that on Instagram, like, hey, this person has done a tattoo with me, that also builds a brand, because people recognize you with their values if they are familiar with that person, if it's a famous person. And if you can connect these two together, it's very powerful, but it can also, once again, be very dangerous if it's not aligned and something else happens.
Yeah, I think it's important that you bring up the two aspects. But it's also, I think, if you do it the right way, then there's so much to gain. But yeah, like you said, I tried doing that in Stockholm when I was up guest spotting. I did two influencers, one a big influencer in Sweden, but he has also a worldwide audience. And then when another influencer that's a little bit smaller but big on TikTok and that kind of thing. And like I did those tattoos for free, but I still feel like I didn't gain that much. I felt like I could have gained more. Maybe I could have done the planning a bit better, or the videos different, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't give me it didn't give me that much that I thought it was gonna give. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should have done something different, but
Maybe
it's
to
so
jump,
hard. It feels like a hit or miss. Either it goes really well, or people don't genuinely care. It's so hard to know.
it's what Noah said before. If you work with people who have a bigger influence than yourself, you need to find somebody who is very close to what you're doing. If you do it with people who are just famous but don't have the community that is interested in your service, and it is like when you do just a paid post, it's like you're just showing your stuff to more people, but if they're not interested and there is no like call to action, or the content is not built in a way to direct it to your page, then you will not have too much out of it. So before working with an influencer, maybe Noah, this is also to add to what you said. I see the value there a lot, and I did it before, and I think this is something that can work pretty well. But before doing so, it's important to understand the audience of the influencer, and they can show you the demographics of their audience, so you understand a little bit if it's in your customer persona. And then it's important that the niche he is in is related to people who could be interested in tattoos. Let's say beauty niche would be something great. If you have somebody who is who give financial advices to people above 60 years old, this is probably not your niche, right? Maybe it is, but I just say probably, or less likely than the beauty niche. And what also makes sense when you work with influencers is to do things more than once. Like they should, like when they show you one time to their audience, it's like seen and forgotten. But if they see you a few times, or you work a few times, or you do something with them a few times, then it's more likely that people start to recognize you as regular part of this influencer's life, and then they will come over and check what you are doing as well.
Yeah.
And as you said, Ted, it could be a little like hit or miss, but these things are always worth a try, and to do them like consistently and try and like try all these different type of things to both like see what works for you and what goes well on social media and what gets much engagement and what generates clients. So it's always important to work with the like trial and error to always see what works and what doesn't works.
Yeah, and I think it's like Florian said, it's about maybe finding the right influencer that can connect more with your brand. Because this guy that I was working with, he was a big strongman fitness influencer, like tons of followers and views and all that kind of stuff, but maybe they weren't so interested in his like private life or what he was doing outside of the strongman or fitness thing. That was what I experienced, I guess. But yeah, maybe it's about connecting with the right influencer, and I feel like it's also really hard because they value their account and their posting and everything like that super high. So it's really hard to like kind of negotiate a good deal for both of us. But yeah, I was down to try it, and yeah, it didn't go that well this time, but maybe next time it will be better. I don't know.
I would like a shared perspective on that, because I think that branding is also something that is very like long term. So even though the video, for example, did not go viral or exploded, you still have this guy on your page that has done a tattoo. So everyone
Yeah,
that likes his content, and maybe they see your account in 1 year from now, and they are not sure if they're going to do the tattoo or not. But then they say, "Hey, what the fuck did he tattoo this guy? Oh fuck!" Then it's already trust built because they have trust to that guy.
yeah, true,
So I
true.
think that the more volume you do of it and the more consistency, the more long term you will benefit from it. Even though short term it might not explode or go viral. It is just like if we take Bang Bang Tattoo for example, like they done a shit ton of influencers there, and even though of course they have so big influence, so whenever they do that, it went viral immediately. But it's also something that is always there with you. You can always market that, hey, this guy was here doing a tattoo with me. And just like Oscar Åkermo with Doja Cat, for example, like even though I did not follow him at that stage when he did a tattoo on her, like now when I go in, there's already built trust because I see, oh shit, there's this person that has done a tattoo here. So it's a long-term thing with people that are yeah, if you take in influencers along the way that is aligned with your brand, that will build trust long term, even though sometimes a hit or miss on what goes viral on the short term, but on the long term it will benefit you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I've had mixed approaches with this guy. Some people hate him, some people love him. They like think it's cool. Oh, you tattooed this guy and that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, long term maybe it will give more than I'm seeing now. But yeah, but then it's also all the things we did. We still could have done that, but he still could have paid. You know what I mean? It feels like he has no issue paying. It's like and the things we did was not fully out of his we didn't post anything on his side or anything like that. So it's that artistic or that artistry in me, like feeling that I give something to him and I maybe didn't give much back, you know.
It's unbalanced in the universe when it feels like that. It feels that you give, but you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
nothing back. But the good part about that is that the universe is always in balance, so you will always get something back. Maybe you don't see it right now. So I believe
yeah, yeah,
strongly that there will be some way that you maybe in the future you have a sick large project about a guy that is not sure on when to pay, and then you start talking, and then you just tell, hey, I did a tattoo on his. Oh, his? Well, that is my fucking cousin. and then he decides to join the project, stuff like that. You never know, right? So
yeah.
and the more people that are associated with that guy and have good associations, the easier it will be to you to get another person that actually knows that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like for me it's so hard because you want to see like those extra steps, you know, of growth. You want to grow as much as possible, as quick as possible, of course. But yeah, sometimes you're just gonna think long term. What is this gonna do for me long term in branding and the social media aspects? But yeah,
I think we all here want to work in speed and we all want to grow fast.
yeah,
It's the downside of being
Uh,
big.
yeah, and also Ted, there maybe just as a thought, when you do something in branding or in everything, whatever it is, it takes a lot of repetition before something comes permanent, right? So even if you do something and afterwards you realize, okay, that hasn't been the right thing for me, or I expected it to come out a little bit different, this doesn't mean that this is gonna have any negative or big negative impact on your brand.
yeah. Because some artists they told me that I shouldn't do it, and some artists told me that yeah, you should try it. So it's like always gonna be polar opposites on what people think you should do. But yeah, it was worth a try, and yeah, maybe next time it will be even better. He is a potential long-term client because he wanted to get more tattoos, so that can be like an ongoing work in progress. We can do even more videos and stuff like that. So I feel like it's also like you guys said, Elias and Noah, that you can build a connection with this person, and then maybe they are willing to do even more stuff in the future, videos, and maybe even a video on his page and stuff like that. So
It's
also what you talked about, the repetition.
Yeah, and it's always worth to try many different things as long as you can like align these things with your values. Because like the more different type of things you're trying with the influencer marketing or with giveaways or posting and like finding your niche and all these stuff, the more things you try, the easier it gets that you find the right thing that you can double down on and 10x and like go all in on. So it's worth it all the time to try different things before you find like the right thing for you to go all in on.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I think now the time is 9:30. I think it was a good ending, but time
Yes.
flew away. But yeah, I mean, for everyone that is watching this, if you like this format, feel free to write some feedback about it. What is good, what is bad, and everything like that. And also like keep asking the things or topics that you want us to bring up. Now we have a few of them that we got from you this time, but keep writing the topics and we will do more of these hopefully. Or we'll go back to the weekly calls depending on what suits everyone else the best, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to add anything into this to end it all?
Oh, I think it was a really good session today.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, it's something that you can speak about for hours. But I think we got a good bag of golden nuggets in these 50 minutes or however much it is.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, then thank you all for watching. Hope you gained some value and have a fucking amazing week.
An amazing week.
All right.
Awesome.
Very